Hello everyone, it's Jack from Visual Effects. So here we're introducing our new thruster wrap pack. So this is where you can wrap just a PNG sequence over a cylinder or any other shape that you want. So first, let's dive in and see how we've set this texture up, because it's a bit more complicated than what you would think. So if we just have a look now. So in the node editor, we've selected one of the thrusters from the pack, and that's A. And then we have just left everything pretty much the same, but in animation we've pressed simple and then pressed calculate. So you select the first frame and then we press calculate, and then it automatically puts these values in. So yep, then we just duplicated that for the opacity channel, but changed a few settings. So we've changed the color space to Rec 709 just to give us a bit more information in the highlights, and then we have changed the type to alpha. Using this power slider brings back some of the smoke for this one, but it's not necessarily a good thing. So we kind of wanted it just about there. So that's how we got the transparency for this asset. And then finally is we've fed the albedo into a texture emission, and then we've just got that set to 4. Obviously the higher the number, the brighter this volume is. And depending on what your bloom values as well, that could make it look a bit nicer. So if we just quickly set up a camera, we could be able to see the bloom in action. So what you'll notice from the get-go is there's a slight problem with having these wrapped maps, and there's probably a reason that they've not been really used that much. So they look great, apart from the fact that you can't see the other side. So the quick trick for that is just duplicating the cylinder, or whatever shape you're using, with the texture on already, and then just tucking it in a little bit, highlight all the sides, right click, and then just reverse normals. So it might make it a little bit brighter, so you might have to jump back in and change the settings a little bit to balance that back out. So all it means is now that you can see the reverse side when you're looking around. So it just means that you've got full creative freedom with this one asset. And again, it animates over time. I suppose the other thing you can do as well, which is pretty cool, is you can jump into color correction and actually change the color of this. Gonna need to feed that into that too. You've still got similar flexibility to you do with VDBs, obviously less over a ramp because it's just a PNG, so it'll start to degrade if you try to create much more variation. But the purpose of these assets are more for like mid shots, so if it's further away, why render a whole VDB for something that's only going to be tiny? Or for spaceships flying past that fast, no need for a VDB, but you still get the 3D element to it. You can also invert the one side. And you've got a bit more flexibility on how kind of shaping these assets as well, which is really cool. You can stretch them for different looks. So if you're interested in grabbing these assets, the link is in the description below.